So hi, One Look Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with...
I'm Cory from the band Boundaries.
And some questions to say about the upcoming album, Death is Little More. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Kind of overwhelmed. It's been going better than any previous release, that's for sure.
Hell yeah. The
Hell yeah.
album fucking rips. It's so good. Front to back.
I can't fucking praise this shit enough. First track hooked me immediately. I was done for. That was fucking it, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, thank you. We decided to just kind of go for it, track one. Just, there is no pausing, just it goes for it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
So for the album itself, I'm not the lyricist or anything, but the album itself, the album name is from Dante's Inferno. It's just a line that somebody says in it. Gotcha. I'm not entirely too sure on everything about that.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. So who brought that up for, I guess, choices for the album title?
Our vocalist, Matt. We just let him do everything, and we trust his vision on that.
Okay, cool. So it was just kind of like that sounds cool.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Cool.
And any sort of meaning behind the cover art, or do you guys leave that for Matt as well?
That's for Matt as well. It's from, there's this dude who makes a whole bunch of cool art, and he posted that picture, and we were like, this looks awesome. And this kind of fits the vibe of what we're going for.
Definitely fits the vibe, yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the album? Yeah,
so song-wise, it's usually me and Cody, our other guitarist, and somewhat Tim for our drummer. And we just kind of write like full songs, like instrumentals, and we'll just send them to each other. And then we show up to the studio with like a list of like 22 songs that we've just collectively written, like just by ourselves. And we kind of rip them apart from there and take ideas from Cody's songs and my songs and mash them into one. And then Randy, our producer, does a lot of writing too. So just like a whole bunch of people all working on all these songs. And we had to cut like a whole bunch of songs and riffs and ideas just to make what we have.
Interesting. So It's like you guys separately are writing your own full songs, and then you hit the studio and rip those songs apart?
Yeah, essentially. We show up after listening to them for like 2 months because we write them pretty far in advance, and we're like, these all kind of suck now. Mm-hmm. We need help.
Okay.
Yeah, once you get sick of it, that's how you know you're ready.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys, I guess, just prefer that process? There's no sort of like pressure for you being in the studio, having that time limit writing wise?
Yeah, I mean, we like to do as much as we can beforehand, but like this time we did like a week in the studio, like 2 months before we started the record, just to like get the first like pre-pro out of the way, get like we know what songs we want to use for the most part. I think we had like 17, which is still too many.
Yeah,
and then we went back to the studio like 2 months later, and we did another week of pre-pro and shortened that number even more to 12.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then the final third studio visit was actually building and creating the album.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so, and that's the first time you guys have done 2 pre-pro sessions and then the album session?
Yeah, so the second pre-pro session was kind of like bunched in with the actual recording session. Like the first week was the second pre-pro session, and then the next day we immediately went to tracking and stuff.
Makes sense.
Gotcha. Was there any reason why you guys decided to do that differently this time?
So when we did the first pre-pro, it just felt better to like sit on the songs for a bit. So we could get like an idea of what we really want, because you could be like really excited about something in the moment, and then like a week later you just hate it.
Yeah.
So it was good to like get the initial writing out of the way and then immediately move into actually like finalizing the songs.
For sure.
Gotcha.
And since you guys are kind of ripping these songs apart, at what point does Matt bring lyrics to the table for the songs? Is it in the studio?
Yeah, for the most part for this record, it was in the studio. So he writes all the time, just like to nothing, like not the songs. Like he just writes. And then in the studio, he kind of just sat by himself and just wrote lyrics for a large majority of it. And then one day he'd be like, "Hey, I want to do this song right now, so let's do it." And then it was kind of just sporadic over the course of a month. Just whenever he wanted to do a song, he would hop up and do it.
Okay.
Fair enough. Makes
Sounds
sense.
good. So, what song off this album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
So my personal favorite is the one that took the longest to write.
That's
It's
fair.
Inhale the Grief, the last song.
Mhm.
So that's the first song I wrote for the record, and it was the last song to get lyrics put onto it.
When did the process start then? Like, when did you write that song?
Oh God, I probably wrote it. It was like in the summer of 2023,
Okay.
like
Okay. It's not
maybe
too
even
bad.
earlier than that.
Mhm. Okay, so why was it? So you said it was just the first song that you personally worked on, but it was the last to have lyrics added to it. So was it just Matt kind of like leaving the best for last in your case, or was it just kind of
For my
it just
case,
took a little bit?
yeah, for my case, it was like him leaving like my best for last. Um, Not that we have disagreements, but there's songs where like people are more excited on than others, and that's one that he was like less excited on that
Mhm.
took longer to write to.
Mhm.
But
Okay,
once he did it, it turned out awesome.
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
All right.
Sounds good.
So how'd the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, closer be a closer, shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
So we leave all of that up to Matt as well. We kind of just wrote a whole bunch of songs and whatever felt like the opener, which was this crazy song is what we put as the opener.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Hail the Grief just felt like a good closer. For
Mhm.
this record, we did something a little different where we wrote, let's say we wrote Darkness Shared, and then at the end of it, we're like, this could go into another song. So we just like wrote another song on the tail of that. So like we knew that like track 2 and 3 would be together.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And we did the same thing with like track 5 and 6. Like we knew those would be together. And same thing with 7 and 8. We knew those would be together.
Okay.
Okay, so kind of like while building the album, you already did kind of have your little bunches of songs. It was just kind of like building around that.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
Huh. So what about those songs made you group them together? Was it just kind of like vibes, or do you guys go off like chords and tuning?
This was just like purely transition, like the way that we would like write a song and end it. It was like it would go perfectly into this song.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it came to track 7 and track which is A Pale Light Lingers, um, we wrote song 8 entirely just like on the basis of this song will go after this one. Like we
Yeah.
finished Pale Light and we're like we could write another song that just goes from this. And same thing with like Darkness Shared into like Petals from a Stem. We just knew that we were going to end Darkness Shared the way we did to go into a song, and we just completely wrote from scratch, just something to go there.
Shit.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
Um, it's really all over the place. For me personally, um, I really just want to pull from a lot of different areas when I'm writing, like from really heavy stuff to not heavy stuff at all.
Mhm.
Like when I was writing Easily Erased, like I was straight up thinking you could even hear it when you listen to it. I was just listening to a whole bunch of Glassjaw and Seosin,
Huh.
and like
Mm.
if you just like listen to a Seosin chorus or a Glassjaw intro, like you
Yeah.
could hear that I kind of just stole it and it's okay.
It's completely okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but you won't know unless you went and found it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Since your influences are kind of all over the place, what are like the main ones for you? I'm gonna take a wild stab and say Slipknot because of the banner back there, but outside of that,
I love Slipknot.
Yeah.
When it comes to writing for Boundaries, a lot of it is Misery Signals and The Devil Wears Prada. Those are like the two big ones.
hell yeah! Shout out Prada, great band.
Yeah, Ben rules.
Yeah. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should you do in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
I always recommend just in the car. Just like that's my vibe. When I listen to a record or like a friend sends me a record, I'm just like, let me get in my car and then I'll listen to this. I'm not gonna play it on my phone speakers and just kind of ruin the experience, IMO.
For sure.
Fair enough.
I also agree that a first listen off phone speakers is kind of ruining it a little bit.
Glory is throwing shade at me because I do that all the time because I'm constantly moving around. But today I listened to it in the car because I had errands to run before this. So
Look at
That
that.
rules.
hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Really, really heavy.
Okay.
Perfectly
I'll
describes
take
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. We wanted the heavy record this time. The last
Fucking
record
got
was
it.
thanks. The last record was more like we're trying new things and going more melodic, but there's definitely a lot more heavy parts on this, which like we have like choruses and like some pretty songs on here.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
But we really wanted to go heavy with this one. This was the scary record, is what we called it for a while.
Yeah.
Alright.
So did you guys make that decision while kind of in pre-pro, or did you do it in the studio where you're like, this is gonna be the scary record?
It was even before that. Like I remember being on some tour. It might have been in like the spring of 2023 where like the next record is a scary one. Like we have to just do it.
Yeah. Was it because were you guys just feeling that, or was it like something the fans were asking for?
It's just what we were feeling. We don't know what the fans want ever, because like we put out Easily Erased and people are like, why are you singing? And then we put out A Pale Light Lingers and people are like, where's the singing? And we're like,
Can't please these motherfuckers.
yeah, I'm like, I have no idea what you guys want, so we're just gonna do what we want.
Damn right. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
As it should be.
So is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
Honestly, no, just like I want people to feel however they feel when they listen to it. Like I want it to bring out whatever emotion they want to feel.
Mhm.
All right.
And because you label this as the scary record, how do you personally feel listening to it?
Oh, I think there's some crazy songs that I don't know how we wrote. Like I think there's some pretty scary songs on here.
Yeah.
I see bloody noses in the pit. That's all I see.
Yeah,
my God.
for sure.
Yes. So are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of this record, positive or negative?
A challenge, which is not really on us, was figuring out who, what, and where we wanted like guest features on the record. It was kind of challenging because we've never done it before. Like we had one guest spot a long time ago, but we haven't done it in like 3 LPs really.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to like share it with like friends and people outside of our band to just like do their own twist on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of difficult to like pick, like I said, who and where. But I'm really happy with who and where we landed on everything.
Sure.
Why did you ultimately decide to pick those 3 vocalists to feature on the record?
So for Marcus from Invent, he's just like a really good friend of ours, and like he's also very, very different sounding.
Yeah.
And it was just a kind of an open spot of like just clean guitar, and we were like, we don't think we're gonna put anything here, but if you want to, here's the spot, and just do whatever you want. And that's what he sent us, and it was awesome.
Oh shit.
When it comes to like Lockie, we just thought he would sound good on that part. We didn't really know him beforehand. We just kind of reached out. We're like, hey, do you want to do this? And he was like, yeah, of course. And then same thing with Matt Honeycutt. We're like, this spot is like just knuckle dragging heavy, and who better to put on than Matt Honeycutt?
Yeah.
And
I
it's just
agree.
somebody we knew in passing. So we just kind of hit him up like, hey, do you want to do this? And he was down.
Fair enough. So at least like it seems like with the Marcus feature, it was just kind of like you do what you want. Was that the case for all 3, where it was just like, here's the part of the song, write and then record whatever you want, or were parts given for the vocalists?
For Marcus, it was total freedom. Matt Honeycutt was mostly freedom. We gave him one line that we wanted him to do, and then the rest of it was all his.
Mm-hmm.
And Lockie's we already had written.
Gotcha.
And we were like, he would sound good over this part
Mm-hmm.
that's already written, so we had him do it.
Makes sense.
Gotcha.
So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Oh, snack of choice.
Mhm.
It's usually white cheddar popcorners
Ooh.
and a Gator Light.
Okay.
Strawberry kiwi specifically for Gator Light.
Mhm.
But they just put out the blue one like last week, so I've been getting the blue one.
Pretty
All
good.
right, sounds good.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Thank you. I fucking love popcorners. I've had the white cheddar one, but my favorite is the kettle corn. That one.
It's dope too. Is that the red
Yeah.
bag?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Oh my God.
Love
I-
snacks.
Addicted. Yeah. Me too. And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Oh, Taco Bell. Just anything from Taco Bell. That's the dish.
Why?
Like no joke, no exaggeration. We go every night on tour.
Aww.
You guys need to win that feed the beat thing that they were doing for a long
For
time.
real, they got to give it to us. Like
Yeah.
me and Matt, like on our app, like we spent over $5,000 each on the Taco Bell app.
Yeah.
You're funding Taco Bell, basically.
Yeah, it's just years of touring and
Yeah.
like we have vegan and vegetarian members, and it's just like the easiest place for all of us to go, and we
Mhm.
decide to go there almost every night.
Yeah, budget friendly too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's very good.
Damn right.
Yeah. So for the last couple questions, I'm going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh, Taco Bell
All right.
with iced Americano.
Nice. What's your
Okay.
Taco Bell order?
It's different a lot of the time.
Mhm.
It's usually something like a beefy 5-layer with potatoes instead of beef because I don't
Ooh.
eat that.
Mm.
And any number from 2 to 4 of those, or I'll get like a cheese quesadilla.
Mhm.
I just every night is something different, but in the same realm of tortilla, rice,
Mhm.
cheese, potato.
Fair
Damn
enough.
right.
All right.
Hell yeah. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Oh, I don't know, because like my favorite fiction world of all time is Silent Hill, but I don't know if I'd want to live there because that's kind of
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah, no, it's kind of awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, see, that's so much better. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think you'd die as easily there.
No, definitely not.
And I've done of asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Ooh, orange.
Ooh,
That's very good.
good
Hell
pick.
yeah.
Yeah.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
No, just like I want people to listen to the record and take it in however they want to, and if they hate it, they hate it. If they love it, they love it, and that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah?
We leave for Europe in about 2 weeks, and then we are home for like 6 days, and then we are in the US for our first headliner. That's incredibly nerve-wracking, and I would appreciate if people came out.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
Well, thank you.
Crush
It's
it.
been Cory from Boundaries, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.